Clear efficiency, helping you get clear on the efficiency of your home. Okay, Lynn and Steven, I am up in the attic space right now, just taking a quick look around, seeing what it is that you guys have and seeing how it is so we might best be able to help you guys out here. So first and foremost, what we're looking at is the type of insulation that you guys have here on your attic floor. This particular stuff, you actually have two types. This particular stuff is, the brown stuff is called cellulose. For all intents and purposes, it's like a ground up newspaper. Very, very fine, very, very dusty in nature. It is known to set off allergies. It is not allowed in schools and hospitals because of the fact that it is known to set off allergies and get people going into sneezing fits. However, when it comes to its ability to insulate, it does a pretty decent job on spreading out and filling in cracks and crevices, okay, for better or for worse. And then secondly is your second type of insulation. This stuff is called fiberglass. This is a newer version of it. Loose fill type of insulation. Really not much difference between this stuff and the newest version, which we have. Really the biggest difference is that the newest version, the pink stuff, is non-toxic, non-itch, and non-dust, right? And by that I mean I'm able to take that insulation and put it directly on my skin, and there is zero irritational factor to it. Whereas the older stuff, it does the same exact job for insulating, but the older stuff still has that irritational factor to it, okay? But this stuff is what's rated for schools and hospitals now, so it is the stuff in which we use to insulate your home, okay? So pretty simple on that, and that brings me to my second point, which is your levels. So bare minimum code right now, guys, is R38, so that's 13.25 inches. That's right here. Okay, and you guys are currently sitting right here around this R30 mark, R25, R30 mark, okay? Like I said, bare minimum code is R38, 13.25 inches, and then the very most insulation that you'd put in the home for the maximum effective insulation is 20 inches R60. Anything above this is what we call diminishing returns, which means we can double up and give you 40 inches, but it won't do anything more than it will right here at this 20. But at the very least, we certainly want to get you to code, so pretty simple on that, okay? Now, where you're at with an R30, insulation is done in increments. So the smallest increment is 19, the next is 30, 38, so on and so forth. Where you're at with 30, if we came in here and blew the increment of 19, the smallest increment over the top of what you've got, okay, then that would bring you to R49 in total throughout the attic, okay? Pretty simple. That's right here, and that we call that the sweet spot because it's just between the middle of code and what is considered the best, okay? So pretty simple on that. Now, like I mentioned to you, Lynn, you do live in SMUD. SMUD does have their $3,000 rebate, but it does hit 3 different criteria in order to activate that rebate, okay? It's not always advantageous, but it is an option for you because you do live in SMUD. No other utility company offers a rebate to their citizens. So Roseville does not offer any rebates for attic work, and neither does any part of PG&E. Okay, so it is just SMUD that offers a rebate, and their rebate is $3,000. So I'm going to quickly break it down for those 3 variables. So the first variable is insulation. Okay, 2 caveats to that though. So they want to make sure that you're up to code. What the 2 caveats are is they will not allow you to use the existing type of insulation if you have more than 2 types existing. Okay, they will only allow you to create that rebate with 2 types maximum, which means that there needs to be 1 existing, and then I'd come in with my second to make up the difference, okay? The fact that you're already at 2, if I came here and blew insulation in, now you're at 3 and now you're void, and the only way to go for the rebate at this point is to remove it, and once you remove it, they won't want you to put back the dusty type of insulation, okay? So you remove it and re-put back just the single Pro Pink L77, the pink stuff, okay? The second caveat that will allow them to void the rebate unless you remove the insulation is rodent activity. So fecal matter, urine, seeds, nuts, things like that. You know, the rebate is about being energy efficient for sure, yes, but it's also about being healthy. So they won't allow you to use existing insulation that does have fecal matter, urine, and whatnot in it. And we do have poop throughout your insulation here. Definitely sporadic, but it's on the flatter areas, right? But we do have evidence of a rodent in. I guess something brought a bee, a honeycomb up here, I guess. So as far as SMUD is concerned, if we're going for the rebate, they would want you to remove this, right? Have us remove everything, disinfect the space, and then start over. Okay, so pretty simple on that, but costly. Okay, worth it, yes, but it does cost money. Okay, the second caveat that they're looking for the rebate is air sealing. They want you to stop the leaks in your home, right? So if your home is leaking energy, they want you to put a stop to that. Hot air rises. As you pay for heat, hot air rises and it stacks on the ceiling and it looks for avenues to escape into the attic space. Those avenues are going to be areas like vents, areas like can lights, areas like wiring, any penetration down through the drywall into the home. They want you to seal that up, right? So that's going to be areas where ductwork meets the attic floor. That's going to be areas where your whole house fan meets the attic floor. Areas where plumbing goes down, any wiring goes down. They want all that sealed up with the expandable spray foam, okay? And that's going to do two things. One, it's going to stop your AC unit from running as much as it has been running, because now you're not wasting temperature, right? And also heat's not being driven back down during the summertime. But for two, again, I didn't ask if anyone in the home has any allergies or goes into sneezing fits, but if anyone does go into sneezing fits, this dusty type of insulation is the way that it was happening, because during the summertime it forces it back down. So by sealing it up, now yes, you run your units less, but also your air quality is improved, because now you're not mixing the dusty attic insulation back into the main living situation, okay? And then last but not least is the ducts. So the tubes that are traveling your air. By the looks of it, I only see 2 ducts up here, so that tells me that you guys probably have ducts that are run underneath the home, okay? So I don't know if the HVAC people changed out those ducts, but they certainly didn't change out these ones. So these ones are original to the home. SMUD will grandfather in the rebate if your ducts are at least R6. That is what's considered the energy efficient duct. Anything underneath that, they want you to replace it with the newest version, which is R8, and that sits just above that R6. Your current ducts are original, and they would be probably about an R2, maybe an R3, but right around that area, and they would not qualify. And SMUD would require us to change out these 2 at the very least, because that's all that's up here, right? But if the HVAC people hadn't changed out the ducts that are below us, then we would have to address those as well, okay? Excuse me. So as I see it, Lynn and Steven, I see 3 options. Option number 1 is that we do not go for that rebate, okay? You have R30. Option number 1 is I'll blow in R19 over the top of your existing R30, get you to R49 in the entire attic, and we call it a day. You will certainly be more energy efficient, and your bills will be addressed a little bit, okay? Option number 2 is we do a seal and blow. Again, we're not qualifying for the rebate, but I'm going to be going to all the penetrations and sealing them up with the expandable spray foam, okay? And stop the air leaks and the air gaps, and then blow R19 over the top of your R30 and call it a day. You will certainly be more energy efficient, yes, and this will address onto the bills as well. You'll see your bills be reduced because now your HVAC unit isn't wasting and running, wasting energy, right? And then option number 3 will be the rebate option, okay? Option number 3 will be what we call an RSB, otherwise known as remove, seal, blow, okay? That's going to be the big boy, okay? And that'll be removing everything to qualify for the rebate. Remove it down to 0 because we have multiple type of insulations and we've got fecal matter, right? So remove it down to 0 and then disinfect the entire space. Seal up all the gaps, right, on the attic floor, okay? And before we blow back in that R38, what we're going to do is change out the 2 ducts in the attic space here. And assuming that the ducts below us are already changed out, right, then we blow in the R38, and then we qualify for that $3,000 SMUD rebate. If the ducts below us in the crawl space are not changed out, then we would change out those ducts in addition to these 2 ducts to get you the more energy efficient ducts. So you're not wasting your temperature and heat isn't more easily bleeding in, causing you to have to run that AC more, right? So that would be the 3rd option. That would be a remove, seal, blow, okay? And changing out the necessary ducts to qualify for that $3,000 SMUD rebate, okay? All options would qualify for the federal tax credit, but that's pretty much it, Lynn and Steven. That's everything that I'm looking at. That's just a few options to consider in my professional opinion. Sooner rather than later. Thank you.